A low hum moved through deep space. It was soft at first, like a breath held too long. Ancient alien sensors, left drifting and forgotten, stirred awake. Lights blinked after centuries of dark. Data flowed again. The machines had one task: find life that could be taken, worlds that could be broken. This hum told them something had changed. Signals spread across the void. Fleets turned from their slow paths and gathered. The alien commanders felt no worry. The pattern was familiar. A small star. A loud but weak world. Another place that would fall fast. They prepared for an easy end. Far away on Earth, the hum was felt before it was heard. James sat alone in the command room deep under the planet's surface. The air smelled of metal and old circuits. Screens lined the walls, quiet but alert. He had worked this post for many years, through drills that never mattered and alarms that meant nothing. This time was different. The floor beneath his boots vibrated. A low sound pressed into his chest, slow and steady. Warning lights began to glow. Not flashing. Not screaming. Just on. James did not panic. He leaned forward and placed his hand on the console. He knew this sound. He had waited for it most of his life. Power rising, a calm voice said from the system. All systems stable. The hum grew stronger. Above the ground, the sky over Earth was clear. No storms. No fire. Just a strange feeling like the planet itself was waking up. Emily stood on a hill outside the city, her jacket pulled tight. She was not military, not command. She was an engineer who helped build what no one was supposed to see. She looked up as the clouds shifted slightly, though nothing passed through them. Michael stood beside her, arms crossed. He had laughed when the project began years ago. Too big, too costly, too slow. Now he felt his doubt fade. The hum was real. It rolled through the air, not loud but impossible to ignore. Birds took flight. Cars stopped. People looked up together, confused but quiet. This was not the sound of fear. Deep beneath the oceans, inside armored docks carved into rock, the Dreadnought awakened. It was older than any ship Earth had ever launched, yet younger than the threat it faced. Layer by layer, systems came online. Shields warmed. Engines aligned. Weapons did not charge. They waited. The ship did not rush. James watched as lines of green filled the screen. Dreadnought status, he said. Fully active, the system replied. Awaiting command. James closed his eyes for a brief moment. He thought of every time Earth had stayed silent. Every time humanity had hidden, hoping danger would pass. It never had. He opened his eyes. Hold position, he said. Let them hear us. In space, the hum spread faster than light through prepared channels. It was not a message made of words. It was presence. Wait. Confidence. The alien fleet slowed as their sensors struggled to understand what they felt. This was no weak signal. No panicked burst. It was steady, controlled, and vast. Commanders argued. Some said it was a trap. Others said it was a dying machine burning its last strength. But deep down they felt something new. Uncertainty. On Earth, Emily felt tears in her eyes and did not know why. It's speaking, she whispered. Michael nodded. Not with words. Cities stayed quiet. No alarms rang. No broadcasts filled the air. People waited, guided by something they could not name. Humanity, for once, did not shout into the dark. It stood still. The Dreadnought began to rise. Water peeled away from its hull as it lifted from the ocean, slow and careful. It did not break the surface in fire or steam. The sea bent around it, respectful. Satellites adjusted their paths automatically, giving it room. The ship did not hide. It did not threaten. It simply existed. James felt the hum change slightly. Deeper now. Stronger. Open channel, he said. Channel open, the system replied. There was no speech sent. No demand. No warning. The Dreadnought allowed itself to be seen, its shape clear against the stars. Massive. Silent. Patient. In deep space, alien fleets stopped completely. This was not how weak worlds behaved. The hum echoed once more, then settled into a constant tone like a heartbeat. Earth had not fired a shot. It had not begged. It had answered. And the galaxy listened. The alien armada arrived in waves of light. Space bent and split as massive ships poured through, filling the dark with sharp angles and burning engines. They came close together, bright and loud, as if noise alone could win. Their hulls flashed with colors meant to scare. Their weapons stayed open and ready, aimed at a single blue world. Confidence moved through their ranks. They had done this many times. Worlds like this always fell. Signals burst toward Earth, harsh and fast. The messages were not meant to be discussed. They were commands, Surrender now. Power down all defenses. Prepare for control. The words repeated again and again, growing louder as if volume could force obedience. On Earth, the messages reached the diplomats before the public. John stood in the wide chamber built for talks that never happened. The walls were smooth and white, designed to stay calm even in crisis. Screens showed the alien fleet in clear detail. It was larger than expected. Larger than any model. Jessica stood beside him, her hands folded tight. She had trained for this moment, studied past losses, memorized how first contacts failed. She felt no hope of winning. Only the duty to stand. They expect fear, John said quietly. Jessica nodded. And surrender. Around them, other diplomats waited in silence. No one argued. No one shouted. They all understood the balance. One wrong word could burn a planet. John felt the weight of every life behind him. He prepared himself for the sound of defeat. The Dreadnought did not move. In orbit it held its place, dark and still, the low hum steady and calm. Alien sensors focused on it, feeding data back to their commanders. The readings made no sense. Power levels were high but not rising. Weapons were present but inactive. Shields were strong but not flaring. The alien commanders grew angry. Silence to them meant weakness or trickery. More threats were sent. Timers were added. Countdowns began. The fleet shifted closer, forming attack lines. John looked at the screen and then at Jessica. "We may not leave this room," he said. Jessica straightened her back. "Then we speak clearly," she replied. Before either could send a reply, the Dreadnought spoke. It did not broadcast loudly. It did not interrupt the alien signals with force. It waited for a pause, a brief gap between threats, and filled it with calm. The message was short. It was not a threat. It did not mention weapons or destruction. It did not demand retreat. It simply stated that Earth was present, aware, and not alone. The tone was steady, even gentle. There was no anger in it. No fear. Across the alien fleet, systems froze for a fraction of a second as the message processed. Commanders expected lies or bluster. What they received was something far worse for them. Certainty. David watched the data flow from a control station far from the diplomats. He was not a speaker or a soldier. He was an analyst. His job was to see patterns others missed. As the message spread, he saw something strange ripple through the alien formation. They hesitated. Ships that should have advanced slowed instead. Weapon locks flickered, then dropped. Communication lines between alien vessels filled with questions instead of orders. David leaned closer to his screen, heart racing. "They didn't expect that," he whispered. The alien commanders replayed the message again and again. They searched for hidden threats, coded warnings, signs of weakness. There were none. The Dreadnought had not raised its voice. It had not tried to impress. It had simply spoken as if it belonged there. And it did. On Earth, the chamber stayed silent. John felt his breath catch. Jessica's eyes widened slightly. The room did not erupt in relief or joy. It was too early for that. But something had changed. The pressure in the air eased. Alien threats slowed. The countdown stopped. New messages came, less sharp, more careful. They asked questions. They demanded clarification. They wanted to know what Earth was. David watched the shift and understood. Loud worlds begged or fought. Quiet worlds hid. But steady worlds? Steady worlds were dangerous in ways no one could measure. The Dreadnought remained still, its hum unchanged. It did not speak again. It did not need to. Across the void, the alien armada waited, uncertain for the first time in its long history. Earth had not challenged them. It had introduced itself. The message was short. It was not a threat. It did not mention weapons or destruction. It did not demand retreat. It simply stated that Earth was present, aware, and not alone. The tone was steady, even gentle. There was no anger in it. No fear. Across the alien fleet, systems froze for a fraction of a second as the message processed. Commanders expected lies or bluster. What they received was something far worse for them. Certainty. David watched the data flow from a control station far from the diplomats. He was not a speaker or a soldier. He was an analyst. His job was to see patterns others missed. As the message spread, he saw something strange ripple through the alien formation. They hesitated. Ships that should have advanced slowed instead. Weapon locks flickered, then dropped. Communication lines between alien vessels filled with questions instead of orders. David leaned closer to his screen, heart racing. "They didn't expect that," he whispered. The alien commanders replayed the message again and again. They searched for hidden threats, coded warnings, signs of weakness. There were none. The Dreadnought had not raised its voice. It had not tried to impress. It had simply spoken as if it belonged there. And it did. On Earth, the chamber stayed silent. John felt his breath catch. Jessica's eyes widened slightly. The room did not erupt in relief or joy. It was too early for that. But something had changed. The pressure in the air eased. Alien threats slowed. The countdown stopped. New messages came, less sharp, more careful. They asked questions. They demanded clarification. They wanted to know what Earth was. David watched the shift and understood. Loud worlds begged or fought. Quiet worlds hid. But steady worlds? Steady worlds were dangerous in ways no one could measure. The Dreadnought remained still, its hum unchanged. It did not speak again. It did not need to. Across the void, the alien armada waited, uncertain for the first time in its long history. Earth had not challenged them. It had introduced itself. The talks did not begin on a planet or inside a grand hall. They began in open space where nothing could be hidden. A wide, empty stretch was cleared between the fleets. No weapons pointed inward. No ships moved closer than agreed. Silence returned, calm and careful. At the center of it all floated a small human meeting craft. It was simple, almost fragile, especially with the massive Dreadnought behind it. The great ship remained still, its low hum steady and quiet, like a promise it did not need to repeat. James sat inside the meeting craft, hands resting on his knees. He wore no armor, no rank markings meant to impress. Just a plain uniform. Across from him sat Emily, her face calm but focused. She had helped build systems, not speeches, yet she understood what this moment needed. Across the narrow space, alien leaders appeared on shared displays. Their forms were strange but still, their eyes sharp and alert. They expected demands. They expected conditions. They expected strength shown through words. James began by speaking softly. He did not talk about weapons or power. He spoke about Earth's history. He spoke about how humans had once believed force solved problems. How they fought each other for land, belief, and pride. He did not hide the damage it caused. He did not soften the truth. Emily continued when he paused. She spoke about mistakes that nearly ended their world. About choices made too fast and fear that led to cruelty. She spoke about limits, limited resources, limited understanding, limited time. She did not claim humanity was wise. Only learning. The alien leaders listened in silence. This was not how strong species spoke. Strong species listed victories. They boasted of survival. Humans spoke of failure. James looked up at the alien figures. "We are not here to rule," he said. "And we are not here to be destroyed. We are here because we learned something late but deeply. No one wins alone." The Dreadnought hummed softly behind them, unchanged. It did not react to the words. It did not emphasize them. Its calm made the honesty feel heavier. Alien leaders shifted. Data flowed rapidly between their ships. This was not weakness. This was something unfamiliar. A species that admitted limits did not fit any known pattern. Weapons could be measured. Shields could be tested. Honesty like this had no clear defense. Emily leaned forward slightly. "We will defend ourselves," she said simply. "But we will not chase fear across the stars." The words settled into the space between fleets. Slowly, alien ships began to pull back. Not in retreat but in thought. Distance grew, careful and controlled. Weapons powered down, one system at a time. The formations loosened, no longer tight with attack intent. James noticed the change and felt a quiet relief. No cheers came from the human side. No victory signals flashed. This was not an end. It was a pause chosen by both sides. Alien leaders responded at last. Their words were fewer, more measured than before. They did not agree with everything. They did not trust fully. But they acknowledged what they had heard. They asked questions instead of issuing commands. The Dreadnought remained where it was, its presence steady. It did not follow the fleets as they moved back. It did not push forward to claim space. It allowed distance the same way it allowed silence. Emily glanced at James. He nodded once. That was enough. As the meeting ended, the shared space dimmed. The human craft stayed still a moment longer, then slowly turned back toward Earth. Behind it, the Dreadnought continued its quiet hum. Across the galaxy, records would later show this moment as a turning point. Not because a weapon fired. Not because a fleet fell. But because a small species chose to speak honestly, and the stars chose to listen. The fleets drifted farther away, choosing distance over destruction. And for the first time in a long while, space felt wide enough for everyone. The records did not change with ceremony or sound. They changed quietly in data halls far from stars and battles. Ancient systems updated their lists line by line. Earth was removed from old categories marked silent, weak, unclaimed. A new mark replaced them. Not ruler. Not threat. A voice the galaxy must hear. No announcement followed. No warning spread. But the change moved faster than any fleet. On Earth, James stood once more in the deep command room. The screens were calm now, showing empty space where danger had waited. The Dreadnought still hovered in orbit, vast and patient. Its hum was softer than before, almost gentle. "Begin power down," James said. The command rolled through the ship. Engines eased. Shields thinned, not dropped, but relaxed. Weapons returned to rest. The Dreadnought did not shut down suddenly. It slowed like a long-held breath finally released. Emily watched from the surface as the light around the ship dimmed. She felt tired in a way she had never known before. Not fear-tired. Purpose-tired. The kind that comes after something important is finished. Michael stood nearby, quiet. "It listened," he said. Emily nodded. "So did we." Across Earth, people returned to normal life without fully understanding what had passed. Trains ran. Lights stayed on. Children slept safely. The sky looked the same as it always had. That was the point. In distant systems, alien fleets regrouped. Their commanders studied reports again and again. No losses. No victory. Just a memory that did not fit old rules. They spoke less loudly now. They planned more carefully. David reviewed the final data streams and leaned back in his chair. The patterns were clear. Fear had not vanished, but it had changed shape. It no longer rushed forward. It paused. It thought. Ashley's rescue ships returned home, their hulls marked with new symbols from alien crews. Not trophies. Thanks. She did not speak of it much. She did not need to. Daniel signed off the last defensive logs. The lines dissolved, ships returning to patrol routes instead of battle arcs. "Stand down," he ordered and meant it fully. Lauren watched the long-range feeds as the last alien fleet slipped into jump space. She smiled to herself. Anchors did not chase ships. They let storms pass. The Dreadnought's hum faded to a whisper. It did not disappear from orbit, but it slept. Not hidden. Not afraid. Simply waiting should it ever be needed again. James filed the final report. He did not use strong words. He did not claim victory. He wrote what happened plainly. Humanity spoke once. Space listened. The stars felt farther apart again, but also safer.